I'm Ron Chuckett, and it's lunchtime on a Thursday. And so we'll do a game tomorrow as we wait for our company to come this weekend. But I figured since I wasn't going to really get the chance to do much streaming or YouTubing this weekend, that we would do a lunchtime edition of Ask Uncle Ron, where you can pretty much ask me anything within reason. So I'll be with you between now and the hour of 1 o'clock uh, for your dancing and dining pleasure. Now, I never eat during my lunchtime streams. I always do that beforehand because it's just too much of a pain in the ass to try to eat, play a game, and stream at the same time. So I just actually finished my lunch and just in time too. So the next hour or so, let's chat a bit here. Let's see announcements. Spare a thought or two for ID Jester and Bobby Catalano, who I think are going to be in harm's way with the hurricane that's currently making its way between Puerto Rico and the east coast of Florida over the weekend or Monday morning. I think specifically it's going to uh, rake over Florida. And of course, there aren't really any hills in southern Florida, so it's going to go through. So spare a thought or two for those two people who are wonderful friends of the channel, and hopefully they'll make it through the storm okay. Um, Never an easy thing, and you never know what any storm is going to do at one particular point. So hopefully they will get through the weekend okay, or the beginning part of next week okay. Don't know if it's going to go back out into the Gulf of Mexico or do what those storms usually do, which is kick up the East Coast, which usually means that we will get a day full of rain, probably Wednesday or Thursday. And Mr. Dave Gardner probably will get some wind with that, unless it's a real freak storm and holds its shape till it gets all the way up north. But it wasn't really that hot of a summer up here. It was warm, but even at night, it would be high 50s, low 60s. I think maybe twice this summer here in Burlington, we had a low that didn't get below 70, which is highly unusual. Usually we have like a week or two where it's just insufferable. And I think we had a weekend that was insufferable, unless you're my cat and smelling my farts, and that's always insufferable. So as I said, hopefully ID's in the southwest part of Florida, and Bobby is more central, and hopefully they will make it through okay. I know Bobby's had a lot of flooding this summer with the rain. So let's see what else. Hope Al Red Sox fan feels better soon. I know he has been feeling well. His 68 AFL NFL tournament is coming down to a close. So jealous of what? The hell would you be jealous of? I'm pretty good at knowing who has what. Do I know who has Dice Baseball? Al Red Sox fan. Get a hold of Mr. Red Sox fan. How you doing there, Tim? Good afternoon to you too. You know, it's unusual. It usually is 65 to 70 if it's really hot. And it gets humid here, which I know you don't have to worry about too much with the humidity. And so it just gets sticky and uncomfortable. But there's only been 1 or 2 days where Sarah and I made sure that if we left the house, we left really early, such as 8 o'clock or so, just to get some air in. Because once the weather turns nasty, then I won't be able to get outside much at all. Don't draft Andrew Luck. That's not a good idea. Yep. Please do. And ID did a wonderful job working on all those charts. But I would talk, there's no new version of that. That game has pretty much ceased production. And so, like I said, between ID and Al is your best bet. Cool night to doodle hold you by the firelight. If it don't feel right, you can go. See, we were just talking about you, Bobby. How are you? We get kind of goofy, I guess, right now. Tomorrow we'll do some basketball for you, Vermont and Marist at noontime. How you doing now? Hope you're feeling better. But be careful of the football ref, his cousin Al Patriots fan. Cheats terribly, just horribly cheats. Well, that's a good sign because those games by and large are good. So hopefully he will. I wouldn't put a lot of faith in that. Let's see. What else? I'm not seeing Mr. Gardner here, but I actually get to meet one of you crazy people this weekend. Dave Gardner is coming up, so I get to spend some time with him and his lovely wife. And so Sarah will get to meet him and all that. So that's pretty much what we're doing this weekend. So basketball tomorrow, Vermont and Marist. And a good story, kind of one of those, once in a while there. Do I know who Rock Cabato is? Not a clue. Is that related to Mr. Roboto? You have a friend that lives in Winooski, right? I don't get Masson up here. I barely even watch Nesson, so we don't get that up here. I did see that the Nationals did win their arbitration case against Fred. Oh, okay. Yeah, now writes for the Orioles. Are you in that? Are you in a draft with him? Yes, and Michigan at some point will beat Ohio State. And all you losers who root for Ohio State will pay the price bigly for that. Mid-Atlantic Sports Network, and they do the Orioles and the Nationals games. Just like UVM will trash Maine, Clinton. Okay. I'll have to. Where was I with that? So UVM this on the 26th of October in a preseason special will retire Taylor Coppenrath and DJ Sorrentine's number. In fact, Tribes fan sent me that link yesterday too, so that's pretty awesome. Thank you very much. And so tomorrow we'll talk more about that against the Marist Red Foxes. Elizabeth, I'm coming. It's the big one. So Lord Craig. Oops. How are you? From the pride of Pawtucket, Rhode Island. TJ Sorrentine, and now he's an assistant coach at Brown. So I'm glad he stayed in basketball. Good player. Really good player. America East team. All America East first team 3 years, I think it was. So yeah, tomorrow against Marist at noon. Oh. With a name like Sorrentine, I'm not surprised there was an academy. There you go. You're believing that Navy can beat them. Army. Colin, nice to have you along, and good afternoon from the States, and good evening to the UK. This has turned into an international show, I see. So what do you guys want to talk about? Writing. I've done about 3,000 words in the last 4 days. We'll do some writing later this afternoon, which is why I'm not going to do a game, and then the Labor Day weekend is kind of toast, as I see that froze up. So I'm not sure I'm going to do 50,000 words in 30 days, but we'll give it a go. So I've been averaging about 1,000 a day. Yesterday I wrote a couple thousand. Not going to tell you what it is I'm writing about. It is fiction, and fiction is difficult, if anyone's ever done that before. We are still looking, by the way, for a Dungeons and Dragons player that familiar with Dungeons and Dragons and Fantasy Grounds. You get to join Tabletop Sports Delaware, ID Jester as the game master, myself, and the lovely wife. It's a fictional story, and that's all I'm going to say. But when it gets a little closer to being done, I'll let you know. Writing is, one of the things about writing is that it can be really, really easy or it can be really, really difficult. And the writing I did for Fansided, as Kenny Castro can tell you, although we didn't work together there, was that when your subject matter is spelled out for you, it pretty much is cut and dried. You get, you have how many words that you have or space, depending on if it's a magazine or such. And you can do it. When I got done with Fanside, I could choke out a 500-word article in about an hour. Half hour to write, another 5 or 10 minutes to edit, and then lay it out on the whatever page I was working on. But you never had time off from that. So, Ken, don't worry about being lazy. You go ahead and enjoy rolling those dead ball games that love so much. But fiction, you are the chief cook, bottle washer, marionette, puppeteer, and all that. And so I plan maybe a day or two in advance. I know what I'm writing about today. If another idea pops into my head, I might do 2 scenes today. So you're not going to see me much on people's night streams. Although I did enjoy Al's Oakland Dallas game. So if I can get a couple thousand more words done today, and I know for me, a case of a first draft is you write this, I'm writing a story for myself. And then after it's done, then after that part's done, then I'll start putting it into something that people might want to read. But I don't know, Ken, if you've ever done fiction. And oh yeah, it's an absolute grind. It's an absolute grind. It is as wearing on you mentally as taking on a long replay project. It was a fun game. Al has a good dead ball mindset. If he put some more of those 77 Mets games up there, he's playing dead ball with them. Of course, you have to. You got one more year for that. And I have a feeling that an independent league team will go into Pawtucket. McCoy, I think, is still in halfway decent shape. And I can't imagine that Rhode Island would be without a double or triple A team for very long. So that's the toughest part about fiction writing is you just got to juggle it all. But I've learned I haven't written a lot of fiction since I did the sports writing thing. But like I said, first tell the story to yourself and then work on making sure it's presentable to other people. And then make sure it's all polished and stuff. I run it through a grammar editor when I'm done. I don't change anything, but I just want to see how bad it is. And it's not great stuff. But anyway, for all of you guys who are content creators here, it's pretty much the same thing. Yes, they've needed a new stadium in Rhode Island for a while. The Rhode Island legislature kind of kicked the can down the court, and the Red Sox are moving to Worcester. I use Pro Writing Aid. Get that done. You get paid for that too, I hope. I love your avatar, Lord Craig. Yep. exactly what Richmond did to the Braves. And it happens. Now there are markets that just kind of the size of the league. Oh, can I love it? I bought the lifetime license for it. Have the desktop app. Absolutely love it. It was such a beneficial thing, especially when I was working for Fansided. Doesn't mean that I was a good writer by any stretch of the imagination, but at least most of the time I was grammatically correct. Richmond played around with the Braves. Pawtucket played around with the Reds. I mean, Pawtucket and the Red Sox have had a relationship since 1973. Oh, cool. Okay. The Bristol, England Renaissance Fair. So, like I said, for the first draft, I'm not worried about how it looks. I want to know if my numbers get better. And I felt productive. 50,000 words in 30 days is going to be a stretch, but we'll see what kind of. Bristol, Wisconsin. Oh, why did I think you were in England? Bristol, Wisconsin. There's 1,000 pages. Would you take a few? I'll be writing more than in a week or two. But we will see. I want to get most of it done before October, and then go from there. The key is, after you finish the first draft, is to ignore it for about a month, and so you're not so attached to it. So when you go through and slash the hell out of it, you're not going to be as attached. 50 pictures because a picture is worth 1,000 words. Well, then if you're going through and watching my game streams, then we've certainly had more than 50 pictures. How you doing, Terry? Speaking of which, restarted up this channel about a year ago, and let me tell you what you guys have done for me over the last 365 days. I have 43,900 views, 511,000 minutes of view time, and 317 new subscribers. Not bad, huh? 511 divided by 1, 2, 3. Which means that out of the last 365 days, someone has streamed my stuff a total of 58.3 days continuous. That's obscene. That's absolutely obscene. Oh, that's an interesting story. Springfield was going to get the Paw Sox, but Hartford has the rights in the area and they wanted $1 million. Really? Because I would think that Hartford should be a AAA market. And you would think, because they're what? The AA Yard Goats, or the AA Rockies team, right? The Hartford Yard Goats. And then again, the stadium that was so wonderful for Hartford took a year to open, and the Yard Goats in their first year had to play on the road. When I was a little squirt, back when Clinton was only in his 50s, there was, of course, the Bristol Red Sox, which became the New Britain Red Sox, and then West Haven had the A's in Connecticut. Al, I know Springfield's big for football. Have they ever had organized minor league team? Yeah, you would know. You would know. And Springfield would have been a very good fit. I think Worcester's a good fit for them too. But Springfield would have been a very good fit. There's a lot of Red Sox fans now in Eastern New York. I remember when Pittsfield had the Cubs. Like I said, back when I was a late teen, Glens Falls, Burlington, and Pittsfield all had AA franchises. But now the Eastern League wouldn't come to a market that small. Burlington's 125,000. Glens Falls is probably 150, 175,000. And I don't know what the Metro Pittsfield area is, but no one's doing Eastern League baseball there anymore. If Albany can't get a team, and you would think that Albany would, Schenectady and Troy, and that 400,000 in the Capital District would draw a team. The Yankees played there. The A's played there. Yeah, Nashua, I forgot. Weren't they the Angels? The Rhode Island Red Sox, the Maine Guides, and the Charleston Charlies, old school International League teams, the good old days. Yep. Jose Lean played in Nashua, which tells me that was the Pirates. I'm going to take a drink. So, yeah, there was a lot of good baseball here in New England. We get a lot of, in Montpelier, where my wife is from, there is a college, summertime college baseball league, wooden bat, kind of like the Cape Cod League. And Glens Falls now has one of those teams, and which is good because the weather's nicer here. I mean, April nights in Burlington are not very warm. In fact, it's rather cold. And of course, we have the New York Penn League up here, the Oakland Athletics. Yes, they did. They built them a ballpark in Old Orchard Beach and ignored it once the team moved away. I believe it was the Indians. Does that sound about right? Clinton would know if he's still here. And then they built Hadlock in Portland for the Marlins as a AA team. And now, of course, it's the Red Sox. Portland got the baseball team, and Providence got the Bruins. Because Portland used to have still might have an AHL team. Portland had the Bruins for a while. Then the Baby Bees moved to Providence. I don't know if that park is still there or not. If it is, it's not being used for baseball or high-level baseball. And with real estate being kind of a premium there, I would venture to guess that someone would have redeveloped that, but I'm not sure. If that's the case. So, yeah, I remember when it was a big deal when, well, it was the Albany Colony Yankees, but when Ron Guidry did a rehab assignment up there in 84, 85. The Springfield Acorns. What a nutty name. The Glens Falls Yellow Jackets, by the way, and I was born in Glens Falls, are the oldest one of the oldest semi-professional teams still kicking around. They started in 1928. Hadlock is a nice park. They actually, I think, built the Green Monster or Mini Monster in there as a tribute to Fenway, even for the Marlins. That opened when I was in college, so I want to say 90. I think for the 92 season, because the minor league teams for the expansion clubs opened a year early, so they could actually have some talent to draw from. And so I believe Hadlock opened in 1992. But yeah, there's a good history here of minor league baseball. And of course, New England had the first Little League World Series champion after all those years of Taiwanese, the Trumbull, Connecticut kids. And if you don't remember them, it would be one of the agony or the thrill of victory things for a while, where those kids dancing up and down. So that's pretty cool. Any other questions you got there? So next week, we're going to do 3 football games, 2 of them live and 1 of them on tape. Chris Drury, yep. Very good, Mr. Mike. And we're going to start a new fake football today, where we're going to preview some of the games and go through what happened last week. Obviously not going to do that for the first week because it's the first week worth of games. And I need to get with Kurt Berglund about what we're going to do for the tournament that he is sponsoring. And then it's kind of catch as catch can. I do want to do Ask Uncle Ron about once a week. And of course, Dave and I will still be working on the Digital Dice podcast and, of course, the Ron Chuckett Show. And thanks for all the kind words for Kurt Berglund. That was very, very good. Very, very good. had a great time interviewing him. So that's that with that. So looking forward to the 86 football season. Browns and Bears, Giants and Cowboys, and Raiders and Broncos. And I know that one of the week 2 games is going to be the Raiders and the Redskins. No, that one is that is Dave's. Now, I could call up on the hill and try to get some help with some of the college girls, and my wife might even be okay with it. But as Sarah says, once you got to go to the bathroom, they're just going to send you back home anyway. So Chris Drury played in that game, as you said. And I think it was about 10-11 when that game was played, and that was such a big deal to have someone besides Taiwan win that. So no body pitting. By the way, Baseball Demos has started his mini 30 for 30 project, taking the best game on paper on a given day and playing it out, trying to do as play lineups. I saw that, and I'll post it in a second. That's a try the real joke. Anyway, using History Maker Baseball, which has released an in-season set for the 2019 season. So that is very cool. Would I be brushing up on my skills if I had to practice? Well, I suppose so. I haven't painted anything in a long time. I do have enough motor control to do that with, but it's not something I find real relaxing. Took art classes, of course, in high school, as we all did, and I always loved it when I had to do something with rubber cement because my face was right down there. I remember coming home from school one day, and I forgot what I had to do with what I was gluing together, but I was apparently like 14 and just blitzed out of my mind. And my mother just threw 18,000 fits. I got sent to bed because, okay. But I could certainly see why people sniff glue. Not that I'm condoning that or anything, and YouTube can't demonetize a channel that gets no monetization from YouTube to begin with. But yeah. No. Actually, if I, that's why I create content like this and the games and the writing thing. So it's all creation, but no, not a painter. My mom teaches pottery, as a matter of fact. So, wow, we silenced the crowd. So, what other questions do you guys have? I need to look to see what I saw the other doubleheader or the CBS doubleheader game in week 2. And I forget what it is now. So 5 games the first 2 weeks. How difficult was it to make players for that? Because because there's no numbers really on the cards. It's all traits. How would you do that? There's a couple people. Oh, very okay. Okay. Do tell. There's a couple people. Oh, okay. So if you buy the game, they have a how-to guide. No. Not even if I was in Ghost. I think that's the way for all the play.com games, right? You can create your own. I know that Rob did a good job creating people for the red, white, and blue racing. Oh, coloring a player photo on the card. Oh, that's cool. I like that. So, yeah, correct me if I'm wrong. I think you can do that with all the play.com games, right? And they have, on the creation aspect. They got a new quicker play football game out and some sort of space alien attack game. Is that right? Or am I reading that wrong? Hope to, and maybe we can do a double dip on this. Some people on Facebook are trying to get me in. That just sounds like a holiday family Thanksgiving. Discord. Cool. There we go. $19 for the quick play football. See if we can swing a double for the creator of Pine Tar Baseball to be on, come on, focus, my channel to do the proverbial 2-hour interview and to get him with David on to tape Digital to Dice. Need to figure out how to get it. We had some problems with softwares for our Dave Little chat. Play.com coming to Massachusetts in October for their annual Oh, whereabouts, Kenny? And what's the date on that? I wish Dave Gardner was here because I think he'd love to see it actually played. Speaking of new games, Action PC Hockey on pre-sale comes out September 23rd in Norton, a suburb of Boston. So that's not too far. Play is stealing my first game. They are doing Cubs and Brewers tomorrow night. So I'm switching to the Mets and Phillies game instead. And Mike Russell will be there with bells on. I know you were doing some hockey stuff. You were Penguins in Vegas, I think, right? Was that using Hockey Blast, or what were you using for that? Dave Gardner is cleaning the truck. So don't know if you saw or heard that, but the Play.com is coming to Norton, Massachusetts for their annual hockey tournament. Yes. And what do you think of it, Ken? APA. You're doing that in APA. The Mark Zarba version of it. That's cool. Strat Hockey comes out the 23rd. And I think that's what I'm going to use some Patreon money for this time around. Because it's been forever. Okay, and an all-time great tournament. I'd want to do more hockey on the channel. I like hockey, but people don't watch it. And so it's hard to sit there and go, yes, I'm going to do 7 or 8 weeks of X if I know that it's only going to be watched for a short period of time. Just me. I mean, because I can play it offline and have a good old time with it. But, okay. Well, there you go. From my understanding, yeah. Who's your favorite team, Lord Craig? Answer wisely. But we're going to try to figure out a rotation of games that maybe not games, but sports that don't get as much love and rotate them through the winter. But right now, I got to worry about trying to figure out a schedule for that 60s tournament, which that first game was fun, by the way. And then working some other ones, get in some more fights, because I enjoyed that. I also want to do, here's a good one for you guys. Games that need, okay, that's an acceptable answer. It's not the right answer, but it's an acceptable answer. Now who's the Ice Hogs? Ivan, how are you? You got your own IMDb page? Yes, I know you like Ice Hog. And pretty much any AHL team is an acceptable answer. Can't pick on the kids too much. That's all right, Al. Your cousin Al, Celtics fan, was filling in for you. So, oh, that's cool and not too far away. So, very, very nice. We used to have AHL hockey up here too, but it's gotten too small. Going for their opening night. Very cool. We had the Red Wings were in Glens Falls for 1,000 years. And then Calgary came for a year, and the Devils had a team in Albany for a long time as well. But our markets up here in the Northeast are just too small. Hartford and Bridgeport, I think, are the nearest ones to me. I think Al would tell me if Springfield has an AHL team or not. And of course, Worcester has one. So, who did the Cleveland Barons become? I believe they became the Minnesota North Stars. Unless you're talking about something else. I was born in Glens Falls. Wasn't raised there, but that's where I was born. And for years, they also held the New York State basketball tournament, Sweet 16. So you got to see a lot of high-quality sports for an area that just isn't that big. Sean DeMarco, how are you? Sean's doing a 1927 Yankees replay. Yeah, merger with the Stars in the NHL, Al. And Sean is worth the upgrade to the 2019 version of Action PC. Of all the games that I play, because I will upgrade them. I think baseball usually is the one that is probably, if it wasn't streaming, would be the biggest must. So, in a couple years, that will. There's a lot of changes. What else you guys want to talk about? Games you think that deserve more love? Give me some suggestions on that. Because I was looking at 2nd and 10 again, and the board is kind of dead. And there might or may not be an update and such. What's my personal opinion of OOT baseball? I'm not a huge fan. Not a big fan of the general manager aspect of it. I know Al has done some very good stuff with it. I mean, it could be anything that you want it to be, but it's really just not my cup of tea. But I'm not saying the game is bad. It just doesn't do what I want a baseball game to do. I want to turn on a game and play it. And like I said, as Al's giving me a hard time in the chat right now, there's a lot of good stuff to it. For me, it's just kind of too much, and it's just not all that enjoyable. I think people are kind of curious about it. Dave? Yeah, it's fair to say I don't. But the first version of OOT I played was 2. Yeah, but some people love it, and you know what? I will give it this: a lot of people go in, and it gets a younger crowd. Not that I'm ancient, and people want to be able to change future history, and so. Look, if it gets people into sports gaming, I am all for it. It's just not my favorite engine. But Al does great. He's done some great stuff with it. Yeah, and I just want to manage the games. I figure that the older I get, the more I just want, if I'm going to do that, play. And I don't do a lot of Action PC outside of what I stream, because that's really considered for me work. And so roster card baseball is getting a lot of love for me right now. And we'll see about some others. But I have replay too. But sometimes replay can be a little too realistic. Twitch turret. You do that. You can get away with being naked in Vermont. No. No. I bought version 7 and hated the out distribution. Didn't think it was realistic. And didn't like how they treated you. And so, not a chance. And watching Al play a couple games, I mean, goodness gracious, he had a no-hitter the second game. Dave will bring that Dayglow orange anywhere. Anywhere. And it's disgusting. Let's see, what else? What else is on your guys' mind? Clinton and Kenny are trying to hook up for some work-related stuff. And Ken posted, Ken can do that. So, and if he can't, I think I made him a mod. I think he can do that. So there, if you're interested in the hockey tournament for play.com, there's a link to it. Bobby, hope you do well with the storm this weekend. Be safe, stay dry, and we hope to talk to you next week. And so, all right, so just a few more minutes. The wife wants to go to work, and I got to let her get ready for that. So tomorrow, basketball. We've actually had it a few years, and it doesn't really do all that well here. It's kind of like an old line tradition, and most of the teams that went to 8, Clinton, moved back to 11. You too, buddy. Hope you're feeling better. How many teams are doing it, Clinton? I think we had 7 or 8 teams. I mean, Vermont high schools aren't very big to begin with. And when you add in the fact that I love me a good sandwich. You can have the coffee. I've been playing. Yeah, 2nd and 10 is a game I don't think gets a lot of love. You do get a lot for your buck. And again, kind of like the argument between Action PC and OOTP, they're both good games. Including Old Orchard Beach. Okay. I'd be curious in 5 years if they're still doing that. Because I don't think anyone's doing 8-man in Vermont anymore. If it is, it's very small. It just, I haven't played Strat football since the old version. Not something I'm going to run out and buy. I like the game. Strat hockey, I think, is my next purchase as far as Strat's concerned. But since I'm a solitaire gamer, really, again, again, the cost of getting into it is the biggest obstacle. Okay, well, that should be fun. Yes. I bought 7 and didn't like it. With soccer being the big sport up here, you just have a hard time competing with it. And so well, the 6,200 college teams that come with 2nd and 10 is huge. And the play calling, I think, is a little bit more simplistic. I would compare it to the difference for APBA and Strat. They're both very good games. One looks a little bit easier. The AI in 2nd and 10 is hard to beat. So Clint uses it for the transactions. I have Baseball Reference on my bookmark. All right, couple more minutes, guys, and then we'll let you go. So hey, thanks for watching, Colin, and join us again. Noontime, usually, 5 o'clock your time, Tuesdays and Thursdays. You know, the thing with Action PC Baseball, I mean, I have everything from 1901 forward. Yeah, I just got very turned off, Clinton, on how they treated their customer base. So yeah, noontime on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then I think going forward we'll do one weeknight and a couple weekend. So that's what I'm gonna do for Strats. The struggle with the great '66 Michigan team. So does Action PC. It has disabled lists anyway. Like I said, I'd like to have him. I'm not friends with him on Facebook. I got to see if he would do both, do an Ask or the Ron Chuckett Show and Digital to Dice. If they played in the regular season that year, I can. I think they did. Marist is the next game, and that's what you're going to see tomorrow. If I do an extra game, it would probably be the Brown game because of Sorrentine. I mean, I'm talking 32 games as it is. I don't want to add too many more to that, but we will do one tomorrow while we wait for my body painting lesson. I'm so excited. Can't you tell? I can't wait to be Dayglow Orange. Actually, I'm very excited about this. Of all the people I've worked with over the years, the Red Foxes. They are the Red Foxes. I love it. Elizabeth, honey, I'm coming home. Of all the people I've worked with over the years on the internet, outside of the one that lived in town and now moved to Monterey, California, never met any of you guys in person before, so I really am looking forward to doing it. You can save everything as an HTML file too in Action PC. Totals and stuff. I'm not sure. Best of luck, Clinton, for that. Hope you get it. Hope it's a good interview. All right, gang, that's going to about do it for me. So again, thanks for a absolutely wonderful first year of doing this. And so tomorrow at noon, it's Marist and UVM. And then I don't know what Dave and I are going to do over the weekend. Do I? Of course I do. Oh, yes, I do. Send me a note. Here. There's my email address. All right, you too, Lord Craig, and thank you all so much. So tomorrow at noon, some basketball. And until then, I'm Ron Chuckett. You have yourself a wonderful day and hope you feel better soon. Bye-bye.